Welcome to Chabad of YouTube. This is Yeshua Durkin, and I'm just very impressed with this Lekutei Maharan. I just went through the very first one. It's very short and concise, but to the point. And if people would just learn just one of these at a time before davening, it could really help them reach spiritual heights. So this is the second section, or number 2 on Lekutei Maharan, book 1. And it goes like this: For the Jew must always focus on inner intelligence of every matter, and bind himself to the wisdom and inner intelligence that is to be found in each thing. This, so that the intelligence which is in everything may enlighten him, that he may draw closer to God through that. Hadavar ki ha-seichel hu or gadol meir loy bechol derechov k'moy shekasuv kihilas ches chachmas adam ta'ir panav. Once. So that the intelligence which is in everything may enlighten him, so that he may draw closer to God through that thing. For the inner intelligence is a great light that shines for a person in all his ways, as it is written in Ecclesiastes 8:1. A person's wisdom causes his countenance to shine. V'zeh b'chinas Yaakov ki Yaakov Zacha li b'chayra shehu rashis shehu b'chainsa chachma tzitikunim sikur yudalid zohar mishpatim kuf chaf olive kemoy shekasav tehillim Kuf Yud Olive Rashis Chachma. Okay. This is the concept of Yaakov. For Yaakov merited the rights of the firstborn, which is Rashis, the beginning, the concept of wisdom. Bechinas Bereshis Chaf Zayin V'yak V'nai Zeb Famayim Vesargum Unkalus Vechak Mani. As in Psalms 111:10. The Rashis is wisdom, so the beginning is wisdom. This corresponds to, and Yaakov he obstructed me these 2 times. It's in Genesis 27:36, which Onkeles renders he outwitted me. V'zeh b'chinas shemesh ki ha-seichel hu meir loy b'chol derachav kemoy ha-shemesh v'zeh v'chansa v'oirach tzadikim keor noiga Hoylach ve'or ad nechoin hayoim. And this is the concept of sun. For the inner intelligence shines for him in all his ways, like the sun. This corresponds to Proverbs 4:18. The path of the righteous is like radiant sunlight, shining ever brighter as it approaches noon. V'zeh b'chansa Chas Lishoin Chiyus Ki HaChachma V'HaSeichel Hu HaChiyus Shel Kol Devar Kemoy Shekasuv Ki Lazayin HaChachma Techaya V'chuli. And this is that concept of the Chetz. It suggests Chiyus, life, Chayus, life. For the wisdom and the inner intelligence are the vitality of all things. as in Ecclesiastes 7:12, wisdom gives life to those who possess it. Waiting for the actual book to come right now. I only have it on Kindle, and it's just hard to read the Hebrew sometimes. Like, I don't know. Just the way the book is formatted. Sorry if I'm biting my tongue through this. Ach machamas she'or ha'seichel gadol me'od efshar lizkois alav ki im al yedei bechinas nun shehu bechinas malchus kimoy shekasuv tehillim ayin vez. However, because the light of the inner intelligence is so very great, it is impossible to attain except through the concepts of Nun, which is an aspect of Malchus kingship, as it is written in Psalm 72:17. Livnei Shemesh Yegoin Shemoy Ufarash Rashi Lishain Malchus. May his name Yenun be perpetuated as long as the sun. And Rashi explains that Yenun means kingship. V'zeh bechinas levana ki hiyuvana ein la or ma'atzma ki ima shemekabeles mahashemesh. Okay, it's just quoting something from the Zohar. Daf Kuflamed Ches V'daf Reish Mem Tes V'zehu Bechinas Malchus Delas La Migarma Kilum Elama Shemekabeles Min Ha-Ches Shehi Bechinas Chachma Bechinas Shemesh Kaniz Kileel V'Naaseh Or Halvana Ke'or HaChama. This is also the concept of the moon, for the moon has no light of her own, only that which she receives from the sun. Zohar 1:238a. And this corresponds to Malchus. It has nothing of its own other than what it receives from Chet, the aspect of wisdom, sun. As a result, the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun. This is a deep thing right here. This whole thing, the light of the moon will be as the light of the sun. If I'm not mistaken, this relates to when Mashiach comes. As we all know, in the very beginning of time, there was a concept that Hashem created the sun and he created the moon. And there was a machlekes. There was an argument. I think the moon was complaining, why is there a sun? I was here first or whatever. And Hashem diminished the moon and it became small. And the moon, I guess you could say the moon relates to the Jewish people. A lot of us complain all the time and we have to appreciate what Hashem gives us. Nevertheless, there's a concept that when Mashiach comes, the moon will restore to its full glory. And likewise, the Jewish people were cast off from Hashem when they sinned and we lost the Beis HaMikdash. We're not cast off from Hashem, but we lost the Holy Temple. We were in exile. 2 Holy Temples we were in exile. And when Mashiach comes, we'll be in the full glory. We'll shine greater than the sun. So it's talking about this Inyan. Right now, this is also the concept of the moon. For the moon has no light of her own, only that which she receives from the sun. Zohar 1:238a. And this corresponds to Malchus. It has nothing of its own other than it receives from the Chet, the aspect of wisdom, sun. As a result, The light of the moon will be like the light of the sun. That's something completely different then. Isaiah 30:26. Avomi she'enoi mikasher atzmoi el ha-sachel v'ha-chachma v'ha-chiyus sheyesh b'chol davar ze b'chinas esav shebiza es ha-b'chira k'moi shekasuv v'yiven esav es ha-b'chira Dehainu hasechel kanis keleel bechinas loy yachpoitz kisil bisvuna ki im behis galois liboy veze bechinas. However, the person who does not bind himself to the inner intelligence, wisdom, and vitality that is in each thing corresponds to Esav. He despised the birthright, as is written in Bereshit 25:34. And Esav despised the rights of the firstborn, an example of the inner intelligence. This is in Proverbs 18:2. The fool does not desire understanding, but only to bear his heart. And this corresponds to the kingdom of evil, to the moon of the other side, of which it is said, the moon shall be disgraced. Malchus harsha bechinas levana desitra achra she'eleha ne'amar yudshin ayin yud hey chav daled v'chafra halavana v'chuli. It's not done yet, so I'm still doing 2. V'zeh bechinas yetzer toiv v'yetzer hara ki yetzer toiv nikra kelas daled miskein v'chacham bechinas malchus shehi bechinas inya v'dala deles la migarma klum ki im ma shemekabeles mechachma v'yetzer hara nikra sham melech zaken uchsil bechinas malchus desitra achra she'ena chafatzta bechachma v'sechel bechinas loy yachpoitz ksil bisvuna v'chuli kaniske le'el. Better a youth, poor and wise, than an old and foolish melech, king who no longer knows how to care for himself. Ecclesiastes 4:13. This is the concept of the good inclination and the evil inclination. The good inclination is called poor and wise, corresponding to malchus, which is an aspect of poor and needy, with nothing of her own other than what she receives from chachma, wisdom. But the evil inclination is called an old and foolish melech. This is malchus of the other side, who has no desire for wisdom and inner intelligence, as in the fool does not desire understanding. I think I learned in Tanya for sure. The Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is given to the Jew from the day he's born. And he doesn't fully have the Yetzer Tov in full effect, 100%, till Bar Mitzvah. And that's another reason why it's considered the old wise king, because you get it from the day you're born. From a child, he has to have chinuch and proper education. And by the time he's Bar Mitzvah, the Yetzer Tov should be more developed. I'm not saying a child doesn't have freedom of choice. It's just, it's not natural like the Yetzer Hara, which enters as soon as the day you're born. V'tzar kol echad litan koyach livchinas malchus dikdusha Lehiska bar al malchus desitra achra uchmoy she'amru Rabbi Seinu zichroinam livracha lehoilam yargiz adam yitzer toiv al yitzer hara ve'al yidei mas noisein koyach lemalchus dikdusha al yidei haTorah shehu ha'esek v'koyach k'moy she'amru Rabbi Seinu zichroinam livracha sham lehoilam Yirgiz v'chuli azil mutav v'im lav yasoik b'Torah Moshamru Rabbi Seinu Zichronim Livracha Kuf Yudal Vav Shin Yud Nun Lamed Im Pagab Becha Menuval Ze Mashchahu Leves Hamid Rush. Each person is required to give strength to the kingdom of holiness so that it may overpower the kingdom of the other side. As our sages taught, a person should always incite the good inclination against the evil inclination. This is in Baruchos 5a. And how is strength given to the kingdom of holiness? By means of the Torah study that a person engages in with enthusiasm. As our sages taught, a person should always incite if it leaves good. If not, he should engage in Torah study. And as our sages taught, if this rogue accosts you, drag him to the house of study. Kedushin 30b. Interesting. Reminds me of a Fabrengen that I was at when I was in yeshiva. I was at Tiferes Menachem. And Rabbi Itzik Springer, he used to talk to us all the time about the Yetzer Hara. And basically it came along these lines. What do you do with the Yetzer Hara? You have to schlep him to where you need to go. So when I was in yeshiva, the men would go to the mikveh before Chassidus, and then we would daven. But when you go to the mikveh, it's a nice, comfortable hot tub, and you're comfortable there. Or even before that, when you have a late Fabrengen, or one didn't go to sleep on time like he should have, he literally wants to stay in bed in the morning. He doesn't want to wake up for the davening. And what did Rabbi Springer say? When the Yetzer Hara tries to get you to stay in bed, you say, "Okay, you stay in bed. I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna go to mikveh, or morning brachas or whatever. I'm gonna start off my day." Naturally, when you force it with your Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara has no choice but to go with you. So then you go to the mikveh, and it feels comfortable. You're mamish in a hot tub. And then when you're in the hot tub and you feel really comfortable in the hot tub, the Yetzer Hara says, just stay, relax. It feels amazing. Because the mikveh water was literally comfortable. And what did Rabbi Springer say, Allah Shalom? He'd say, you stay in the mikveh. I'm going to go daven. And basically, you drag the Yetzer Hara with you. And this is basically a similarity, I'm going to say, with Chabad Chassidus. Anyways, going weiter. After doing this whole thing from Kiddushin 30 beats, I'm gonna look into that when I go to shul. I go to a shul, many shuls actually in Cleveland Heights. They don't have any Chassidus, but I will say all these shuls have a Gemara. So when I learn my Chassidus like this, or the Tanya or whatever, it'll always quote the Talmud. And a rabbi said, it's not good that you learn Chassidus. You should learn Talmud. I'd say he's wrong and he's right. He's right that you should learn Talmud, but he's not wrong that you shouldn't learn Chassidus. Like Rabbi Goldberg over here in Cleveland, we both discussed this, and we're like, yeah, you should learn Chassidus, because when one learns Chassidus, he's going to learn more Talmud. He's going to learn more Shulchan Aruch. He's going to follow Torah mitzvahs better. Whatever he's lacking, he's going to be motivated to be a better Jew. So therefore, one should learn Chassidus alongside with the other studies of Torah. Ki al yedei haTorah noisein koyach lemalchus dikdusha v'azai mekabales hamalchus shehi bechinas nun chiyus min hachachma shehi bechinas ches. For it is by means of the Torah that strength is given to the kingdom of holiness. Then Malchus Nun receives vitality from Chachmah, Chet. The Ches and the Nun are joined and bound together. Une chavad us chavaver unisak share. I don't know, I can't read this stuff. It's like skipping vowels. It's not simple like the others form. Vehanun v'naseh or halvana ki or hachama. And as a result, the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun. Okay. I'm just going to go through the English because the Hebrew's just throwing me off right now. Maybe in the future videos, the other Lekutei Maharan, that the physical copy, not this Kindle edition, be more concise in the Hebrew. I just can't read this. It's not so clear. And when the one rises, the other falls. Ooh. Rashi, Genesis 25:23. Thus the kingdom of evil falls and is nullified, and as is written in Hosea 14:10. The ways of God are upright. The righteous walk in them, whereas the sinners stumble in them. That is by means of the ways of God. An example of the Torah, the righteous, who adhere to the kingdom of holiness, are fortified and receive strength, whereas the sinners stumble in them. And this corresponds to the kingdom of evil. An example, the evil inclination which falls and is humbled by means of the Torah as above. I'm going to say it basically right here. This is a very important lesson, number 2 of Lekutei Maharan. Because at the end of the day, who cares what Torah you learn and mitzvahs you do if you don't have Yirah Shamayim, if you don't have fear of heaven? And how does one overcome his evil inclination and the drive to do things that are contrary to the ways of the Torah? He must learn Torah. And if one is learning Torah constantly, but acting like a shmo, he must not have learned the Torah. If you're learning all this stuff about tzedakah and chesed and how to pray, and then you don't daven, I don't know if you really learned. If you're learning about tzedakah and you don't give tzedakah, how'd you really do that? If you're learning all this stuff about Ahavas Yisrael and everything, all these concepts, and you're not nice to your fellow being, how much could you have truly have learned? But the thing is, people do learn for however much they learn. And if they're not applying it into action, then it's as if it's for naught. That's why I like that Maimer Margaret Puma Rava. It says, Rava was once to say, the ultimate purpose of Chachma is Tshuva V'Masei Tovim. The ultimate purpose of wisdom is returning to Hashem with good deeds and actions. That's what the Rebbe says in the beginning of his Maimer, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And right here, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov is literally saying that in order to fight his evil inclination, one must learn Torah. You must have the tool to fight against this. The evil inclination was alive since you were a baby, and it's stronger, and it keeps getting stronger. And the more you indulge in this physical world, the more you indulge in your taivas, the stronger the Yetzer Hara gets. But the more Torah you learn and the more davening you get to, the stronger your Yetzer Hara will be at combating your Yetzer Hara. May we all be matzliach, successful in overcoming the evil inclination in all matters, no matter what you are struggling with. And may we all have the brachas to get what we need in life, whether it's a zivug, children, parnasa, good health, more strength to overcome the evil inclination, whatever we need. And may we see Mashiach, Bakar of Mamash.